everyone. Hello and welcome into a Saturday night where the Minnesota Vikings decided to steal the spotlight, become the center of national media attention, and provide us with an M. Night Shyamalan-style twist to their head coaching search up until this point, because earlier today we learned from a PFT report that the Minnesota Vikings are going to pursue Jim Harbaugh of the Michigan Wolverines to potentially interview for their vacant head coach position. Wow, that's an atom bomb if I've ever seen one, and especially on a Saturday night where you know tomorrow is Championship Sunday, and you're probably not going to get anything accomplished until next week. So we have got a lot to discuss tonight. I waited until late tonight to make sure that this report was confirmed, and it has been confirmed over and over and over again. I'll put all the screen caps up there on the screen. ESPN finally put out a push notification before I sat down to record this, so it seems like this is reality, but honestly, I don't know if it makes sense. I need your guys' help tonight. Let's discuss this. Help me figure out if this makes sense. Is this for real? Is this not for real? And if it is for real, is this what the organization, the Minnesota Vikings, intend to do? Because up until this point, they've been talking a lot about finding personalities that are able to, have symbiotic relationships with each other, be communicable, be personable. Does Jim Harbaugh fit all that? So, let's figure that out tonight. Let's figure that out. I had a script. I'm throwing it out because I'm confused. I'm just a little confused. It's not that I'm not excited, because I am excited. There's a lot of reasons to be excited. Reasons to be excited. Jim Harbaugh has had success. He's had success in the NFL. He's had success in college. It's taken him a while to get there in college, but it has happened. He was even successful in his time with Stanford. We can't forget about that. But I think the thing that people are going to look at the most is his recent history, which is Michigan and the 49ers. So with the 49ers, he goes to the Super Bowl in 2012. He decides to ditch the game manager quarterback in Alex Smith for the more mobile and stronger armed quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. That ends up working out. They don't win the Super Bowl, but they go up against one of the greatest Ravens defenses probably of all time, in the Super Bowl where the lights go out, which was, phenomenal at the time. Ends up having, a clash of, authority with the 49ers front office, and that relationship ends poorly. And his time in the NFL is done. He ends up going to Michigan, where he has to rebuild a program that was left in ashes by his predecessors. I probably would throw all of the blame on that to Rich Rodriguez, because when he came over and tried to make the spread option a thing in the Big Ten, he was just way too ahead of his time after the Lloyd Carr era. Ended up leaving that program in shambles. So it took him a little while to rebuild Michigan up to respectability and to be a major competitor in the Big Ten and compete for a spot in the college football playoffs, which he managed to do. He took the Michigan Wolverines to the college football playoffs this year. They won the Big Ten championship. They beat Ohio State, which is their Super Bowl. Ohio State versus Michigan is the biggest rivalry of all time. If he never won any other game and just beat Ohio State every single season, the man would never buy another drink in the entire state of Michigan for the rest of his life. And as a matter of fact, if he leaves Michigan and that one win is all that he's got, maybe he gets those free drinks forever, because it's that big of a deal. And take it from me, I live in Ohio. It is obnoxiously absurd how ridiculous this rivalry is. These two schools, these two states fucking hate each other. It's a real Harry Potter Voldemort style relationship here, because Ohio State, or Ohio State fans, I guess, refuse to say the letter M or even type it out. I probably just cursed myself having said it right now. And they refer to Michigan as that team up north. So it is a very he who shall not be named type of deal. I mean, if you're not familiar with it, spend a few hours on YouTube and just dive into it, because it's wild. Biggest rivalry in the world. No contest. Bigger than the Yankees and the Broncos, bigger than anything, or Yankees and Broncos. What the hell? I meant Yankees and Red Sox. It's late. It's been a long day. Leave me alone. So, there's reasons to be excited, because Jim Harbaugh has been successful. He's been successful at Michigan. He's been successful with the Niners. He knows a lot of people. He's got big time connections in the football world. I mean, think about it. He could manage to bring in Vic Fangio to be the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings on his coaching staff. He's got ties to Greg Roman. And, this kind of makes sense, because Kwesi Adofo-Mensah worked for the San Francisco 49ers. They crossed paths between, 2013 and 2014. So there's that connection that you can establish between the two people. However, is that where it ends? Because, you could look at this as a type of smokescreen that maybe Kwesi is just doing something for an old friend who's trying to get a bigger payday at Michigan after what I would argue is exceeding expectations at Michigan this past year, getting to the college football playoffs, Big Ten championship, beating Ohio State. Maybe he feels like he's due for a raise. So he's just trying to put this out there, leak this info to the media, and maybe scare Michigan into giving him some more zeros on his contract. That is a realistic possibility. We see that all the time. There's nothing that stops agents from leaking information to the media to make the current employers or their clients panic a little bit so that they add some more money to their contracts or give them contract extensions, whatever. It's completely normal. It happens all the time. And this could be that type of scenario. It's also interesting to me to think that Jim Harbaugh wants to leave Michigan, despite the fact that he has now established success with the Wolverines. It took all of this time to get where he is. He's on top of the world. Why do you want to just walk away from that right now? You've got the program where you want it. You've got Ohio State scared. They haven't experienced a loss to Michigan in what's felt like decades, and they did not handle it well. I can tell you that from having lived here during it. So I don't know. It seems weird to me. But then, the NFL has this allure. It calls you, it beckons you, especially for those who did not succeed the first time. And here's the thing: I think coaches deserve a second chance. Whether they were fired or they left unceremoniously from their previous job, because look around the league. Pete Carroll got a second chance at a head coaching job, won a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick got a second chance at a head coaching job. Now he's the greatest coach of all time, arguably. I mean, unless you want to argue Don Shula or whatever, but arguably greatest coach of all time. Bill Belichick got another chance. And, we don't get, Andy Reid got another chance, Super Bowl. So maybe it's meant to be. Maybe Jim Harbaugh going to the Minnesota Vikings would be the thing that finally leads them to the championship. But does it make sense from a standpoint where Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and the owners of the Vikings organization have been talking nonstop since they fired Zimmer and Spielman about changing the culture of this organization and bringing in people and football minds that are going to be able to communicate and create symbiotic relationships with each other to create the sustained success that they've been severely looking for? I don't know. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh represents that. I think Jim Harbaugh represents success, and I think he represents a huge splash in the NFL. I think that this would be something that they could do, put pen to paper, name him the head coach, have the press conference, and all eyes would be on the Minnesota Vikings. They'd be like, okay, we're here. We're not fucking around anymore. This is Jim Harbaugh. You're all on notice because we are coming for a championship that we rightfully deserve, that we haven't been able to get in the 60 plus years of our existence. That's how I view it. But I just don't know if he fits the criteria for the culture that they want to create. And then, of course, you have Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who sort of danced around the question about, the 53-man roster and how much control or final say he was going to have over it. I think if you bring in Jim Harbaugh, you kind of hand that over, right? You just got the keys to the franchise. You're probably going to be putting Jim Harbaugh in the driver's seat if you hire him, right? And he's probably going to want final say over the roster. It just strikes me as he would be that type of person. So I don't know. I don't know how this fits in. You guys help me out here. What do you think about this developing story today that we have seen? Is this a smokescreen? Are the Vikings for real? It seems like it's for real because he's notified Michigan that the request has been put in. So I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. And this is the third time I've made this video because the first two I was just trying to read a script and it sucked. And this is my more raw reaction to it in the moment where I'm just sort of spitballing and ranting. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Would I be excited if he was hired? I guess yes, I would. But it makes me wonder what they're doing. I'm still on board for D'Amico Ryans. I'm on board for Raheem Morris. I'm on board for Kevin O'Connell. I would appreciate any of those guys. I don't know. It's just I should be more excited about Jim Harbaugh. And you know what? I think I am. I think that you have to be because of the success that he's had previously wherever he's been, Stanford, San Francisco, and now Michigan. So yeah, I think I'd be on board with this. I think I'd be on board. Let me know if you would be on board with Jim Harbaugh being the next head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know your thoughts. That's going to do it for me. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.